So there's still a little bit of policy work that we still need to do on the back end. And a couple of other things here and there, like scoping the data to individual users. But I'm actually going to leave that for now and just add it onto a to-do list here because frankly, I just want to have some fun building out a UI. So let's come in here and say policies, and we'll say fetching scoped to user. This is just stuff so I know that I don't need, just so I know to do it there and so that I don't forget it. By the way, can I sort these? I can't sort them. Yeah, that's weird. It'd be cool if I could sort them. So then maybe that's something that I could implement. Wow, maybe we'll end up building something better than Trello. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive in. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is change the icon library I'm using. I like to use the MDI5 icon library. And the reason I like using that is because it's got more icons. It's pretty much as simple as that. I never feel like it's missing something that I need. So we're going to go to Quasar Extras, enable MDI version 5, change this from material icons to MDI version 5. And I think there's another place. Yeah, here we go, the icon set. I'm also going to change that to MDI version 5. Good afternoon, SA. It's actually good night over here. I've got about a couple more hours before it's 12 o'clock, so I'm doing this one late, but I'm just so excited about it that I just wanted to get going. So let's come in here and maybe dumb things down a little bit. We still want our backend server running, and we got our server running in the background there. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So next we'll come in to our application. Let's start it up, and we can start having some fun. Where is it? There we go. Okay, so it looks like that icon library change has worked because we can see that the menu item over here has changed. Let's see if that menu item this menu ends up disappearing. Okay, it does end up disappearing. However, it seems like they don't do anything about it. They literally just get rid of that menu. Oh no, we got this button here. So does that button then appear? No, it's always there. Okay, so that's for your boards. But you lose the workspaces on a smaller screen. All right then. That's kind of weird. So how do I tackle this? Maybe. So that's going to be like a left menu type thing. But how do I tackle this? Maybe, you know what, we'll do exactly what they're doing, where when you go to the left, it just completely makes it disappear. All right, so without further ado, let's call this maybe the home page. Have I already created a home page? No, I haven't. So we'll come in here and we'll say Quasar new page and call this home page. Or actually, no, we already named this the workspaces index, which is probably a better name for it. Workspaces, workspace index or something like that. Maybe that's not what I called it. Let's come in here, source, pages, workspace index. Okay, weird. For some reason, my editor couldn't find that. Workspace index. How weird is that? What's going on here? You know what? I'm just going to close this down because if I can't search for files, I'm going to become pretty useless quickly. So let's just jump out of here. Might shut that down. Shut that down. Get out of VS Code because that's going to be nasty annoying. All right, so let's see if I can find it this time. Man, workspace index. What about index? Yeah, okay, so, it's because I spelt it wrong. All right, let's rename this to workspace index, and then make sure it is correct in the routes as well. So, close those for now. Routes.js, workspace index. So there we go. Let's go ahead and start our servers up now. Again, cd into app, Quasar dev, and we'll start another tab here, cd into API and art serve. All right. Hopefully that's dealt with that, and then we can get our server up and running. So the next thing I'll do, what's the first thing we'll tackle? How about we tackle logging in and getting this this icon in the top right? Yeah, I might start with that for now. And so we've got our main layout here, and we can work on figuring out the header for that. So first of all, have we got a login page here? Login page. And if we go to slash login. Okay, cool. So we've got our login page now. I can get rid of these buttons because I know that that's all working. And we're first going to focus on just getting the functionality in. We don't need the QPage component because this is a QPage component under the hood. I'm not going to copy the login page for now. I don't think that's the point of this exercise. It's to really copy the functionality. So on success, how about we redirect them to the index page, which is /workspaces. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. We're going to use the composition API because it's good practice. And also it ends up being a lot more flexible. And we'll say here, const handle success is equal to a function. And we want to use router here. So we'll import, I believe it's called use router. Use router from, what is it called? View router? View dash router. Yep, that seems to be what it's called. And now I can come in here and say const router is equal to use router. And then handle success, we can say here router dot push, and we're going to push to, well, the path is /home. Turn that into a string. And so we just need to return handle success here. Return handle success. Cool. We should probably call that handle login success. That's probably a bit better. Handle login success. Cool. All right, let's see if that actually works now. John at example.com. I don't think we currently have this user, so let's quickly go art, tinker, factory. This is the user factory, and we'll go create and give them an email that's equal to john at example.com. Boom, boom. And there we go. So we'll come in here and put the password as password, I think it is. All right, and it sent me to /home, but that route didn't seem to work because it's not /home, it's workspaces. Let me just double check that. Yeah, it's workspaces. Cool. So let's come back here. Now that login page, this is a problem with my plugin that I need to fix. The login page should redirect you to home if you're already logged in. So that's something that I need to fix in my plugin. That's the reason that that's not working. So what I might actually do is just log out here by clearing the cookies. And if you're watching this in the future, that might actually already be fixed. So let's go ahead and delete those cookies. Delete this one too so that we are effectively logged out. Let's refresh that page just in case. And we'll say john at example.com. And the password is going to be password, login, and there we go. We're on the workspaces page. It just doesn't have anything right now. I'm going to disable this extension, LastPass. It is super annoying when you're trying to develop stuff. There we go. Cool. All right, that's that part done. Now, if we are logged in, we want to show the little picture up here of the login button. And by the way, this toolbar is flat. So let's go back into that main layout, get rid of elevated, which is going to flatten it for us. There we go. Let's look for this text here. There it is, the one that's saying the Quasar version. And we're going to replace that with a Q-avatar. So let's just put the word T in there for test and see if that worked. Yes, it did. What does it actually look like over here? So I've got a little picture of myself. So in replace of that, at least for now, let's change the color equal to, I don't know, green or something to see if that works. Yep. And we'll set the color to something like, I don't know, maybe secondary. Yeah, let's go with that. And we should probably make this a button that opens up a menu. So instead of a Q avatar, I think what we can actually do is say Q dash button, and then we can throw the Q avatar directly in there. I don't know the best way to approach this. Maybe we don't even need to use the avatar. Let's say the label is equal to T there. Get rid of that. And we'll set the color here equal to secondary, and then make it rounded. Okay, not rounded, round, singular. There we go. So that's essentially what we want. Just check the sizing there. Yeah, we're not going for exact here. Once again, we just want to copy functionality. Otherwise, it'd be boring me trying to get things pixel perfect. And we'll flatten this out to get rid of the shadow on it. We don't actually want to flatten it. If you flatten it, it inverts the colors. If you say unelevated, then it doesn't invert the colors. It literally just gets rid of the shadow, which is exactly what we wanted in this scenario. Now, when I click on there, I get this nice menu. So let's go ahead and work on that menu. So we can come down here, close this button off, and then we can come in here and say Q-menu, and then basically anything that we show in there should show up when we click on that button, and it does. So I think I'm going to use a Q card in this scenario, and we've got the word account and then a close button up there. So let's say here Q-card. We want that to be flat. I think there's a way I think you can just say flat in order to get rid of the shadow on that. So let's say flat, and then we got Q-card-section, which is going to add some padding, but that padding might be slightly too much. Yeah, I think it is going to be, so I'll get rid of this. And let's put in here the word, was it account? Yep, account. So we'll say maybe just a div, and then we'll put in there, butterfingers. We'll put in there account. All right. There we go. We've got the word account. So this needs to be a little bit wider. It looks like, yeah, that's got a set width on it. So let's just put a set width on this by saying style is equal to width, maybe, I don't know, 250 pixels. Let's see how that turns out. That's about right. That'll do for now at least. Okay, so we've got those rounded edges, which look good. We've got that little bit of shadow, which it has, but it has slightly less shadow. So let's say class is equal to shadow-1. Maybe get rid of flat there. So we've got a tiny bit of shadow, but not too much. Does QMenu add a shadow? I don't know. Let's comment that out for now. Put in a div here and check if it's actually got a bit of a shadow. Save that. Yes, it looks like QMenu does have a shadow. So maybe there's a way that we can get rid of that. Let's check the Quasar docs and see if we can. Come over here and Q-menu. There's the Q-menu component. And I'm looking for something related to a shadow here. Weird. So what about styling? Dark, square. All right, looks like we're stuck with that shadow. Unless I can put a class on here, like class is equal to shadow-1, just to flatten it out a little bit. Is that going to work? Will it take on the shadow that I give it there? Get out of that. Oh, now we actually need something in there to test it. But I don't want to get obsessed with this. Sorry, guys. I'm spending a bit too much time on this thing. Yeah, that looks good enough to me. I'm going to stick with that. Cool. Yeah, has it even got a shadow? Maybe it doesn't at all. My eyes can't even see that. All right. Anyway, we're going to leave it like as that for now and bring our card back in on just so we can sort of push forward here. All right. So this is centered. Let's say, is the whole thing centered? No, it's just that text there. So we should be able to say class is equal to text-center. And I might have to make that full width as well. Nope. Turns out I didn't. We'll probably add a little bit of margining on the top and bottom of there, and then add this button to the right. And I think we can use a Q-space in order to get that extra space there. And then let's have a Q-icon and give it a name of MDI-close maybe. Let's see what that gives us. Okay, so we're getting the close icon, but it's pushed it onto a new line, so I have to fix that up. It might even make sense to just throw this inside of there. Maybe that's going to fix it. No, that hasn't. So we might have to introduce flex here. How about we set this to flex, and I think I can then say justify center. Let's get rid of this for now. So that's going to put that on the center. Then instead of using this space thing here, I think what I can do is say something like self dash end. I think it's something like that to bring it to the end. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to probably do a little bit of Quasar flex looking into here. I always forget this stuff. Flex end, I don't think it is. Or maybe like items end. So we've got flex on that. Maybe we have to actually tell it. Flex justify. Actually, can I say justify between here? This might be a smarter solution to this. Between, and then you add something else here. We could even leave that blank for now. That's not really giving us our desired result. This is actually surprisingly a difficult thing to solve with flex. But I think that's pretty much given us the result that they've got here. Yeah, it looks like that is actually pushed slightly to the left. Anyway, if I spend too much time getting obsessed over this stuff, we're never going to get this done. So let's say Q-button, and then we're going to have to make this flat, and the size is probably going to be something like small. Let's try that and see what we end up with. And this is actually going to be icon instead. Yep, there we go. And now we want to say dense, so it takes up a little bit less space. And that's much better. Now we'll add a little bit of margining in here. Q dash, maybe padding actually. Padding or small, perhaps. Yep, and that's pretty much given us the effect. More or less, that's given us the effect that we want there now. Okay, so now we're going to want to have a separator. And I think Quasar has a Q dash separator. Q dash separator. Oh, sometimes when I type it too quickly, it doesn't catch up to me. Let's try that. And I think that will give us a separator. So now I can add like more content under here. Let's just check if that separator is working. Yes, it is. And we probably want to say class is equal to Q dash margin X small. So we're going to add a margin on the left and the right side in order to push it in a little bit, kind of like what they've got there. Then we've got the icon of ourself with some text on the top and then a little bit of text on the bottom. And I'm going to leave out a lot of these options here. I just want to like get the most part of it in. It'd be nice if we could actually sit this down here. Let's try this. It's going to be so much easier to develop if I can do that. Let's give that a crack. And then maybe I can do that. This is where Pop OS is really cool. It's got that plugin built into it where you can do stuff like this like really easily. But yeah, all right. There we go. This should be a bit easier to develop now. Okay, so next, we basically want the icon, and then this stuff is sitting directly next to that. So how will I tackle this? Well, let's start by adding a div in there. And then we want to have a Q-avatar. And I'm going to follow that pattern that I used before where we're just going to say a label T, or something like that. So let's come back down here and say T. And if I set the color there to secondary, will that make that the background color? Do I have to say background color? Oh no, that worked. And then can I say text dash color equals white? I don't know if that will work. Oh, there we go, that worked as well. Okay, so now we probably want a bit of padding in here. So let's say class is equal to Q dash padding or small will probably do it. Nice, so let's put it into a good position, kind of similar to what we've got here. Now we want some text, but we want it to just kind of like, we want to have like a div in here so we can have text above and then below. So what's a quick, simple way I can figure that out? How about this? We have a div there and then another one here above And then below, let's see if that works. Okay, so that's not, because maybe we should need to set this to a row. Yep, there we go. So now we got our kind of like above, below text there. And then maybe we could flex this is equal to flex. And then let's say items dash center. What's that going to give us? Instead of flex, let's set that to a column. And there we go. It just means that we can center things within there. I think that's more what I want. Yeah, there we go. So now they're just centered a little bit more. And then maybe we can do like a Q dash margin left of, I don't know, that's probably about a small. So we've got a margin on the left that's small there. That's looking good to me. This is very understated, whereas this is kind of like a nice dark gray. So let's say class is equal to text dash gray dash, I don't know, an 8. There we go. Maybe even set it to a 9. It's kind of like more of the gray blue, and I think Quasar has like a gray blue. Is it gray dash blue dash 9 or something like that? I don't really know what it is, but that's okay. It's not important enough. So let's leave that as that, and then we'll come in here, and for the one below, we're going to set it to text gray, maybe something like 6, since it is a lot more understated. And there we go. That's going to be the user's email. So at some point, we also need to make it so that you can fetch the user account. So I'm going to stick that in the back of my mind. Also, this account part up here, that is a lot more understated. So let's come in here, and we'll just wrap that in a span, I reckon. And just say class is equal to text dash gray, maybe an 8. Let's try that. And it's a little bit less than that, so maybe a 7. But I'm getting 2 persnickety. And this one is actually a little bit wider than what I've got there. So how about we say 280? All right, not bad. It's reasonably close. I don't think it's worth going beyond that. And now let's put in some dummy data here. Instead of above, we'll say Luke Diebold, which is my name. And then Luke at ldiebold.com, which is my email. And there we go. And instead of a T here, maybe we'll set that to like LD. Is it going to fit the LD in there? Yeah. Yeah, cool. So if the user doesn't have a profile picture, they'll just get LD in there. Where's the other T? Oh gosh, searching for T. It's sitting in a label property, I believe, in the root element. There it is there. L. Okay. LD. So this, I think, needs to be in its own component now. So maybe we can call this, I don't know, top right menu. No, because it might not be in the top right. Let's call this account button, manage account button, just account button. I think that'll do. So let's come through here and say Quasar new component account button. There we go. We now have that component. So I'm pretty much just going to take all of this logic, all of the button stuff, and then say here account button. And then we can import that. Where's our imports? Here they are. Import account button from component slash account button dot view. All right. Now let's see if we can click through to that. Yes, we can. Paste that in there, the account button stuff. And we'll also have to register this component as well. There it is there. Get rid of all of this essential links stuff. We don't need it, don't need that. Left drawer open. I might keep some of that functionality because we might use it. This is stuff we get out of the box with Quasar. Get rid of that, get rid of that, and that's probably about it. And it still works, but now it's sitting within its own component. Tremendous. So what else can we copy here? I'm not going to bother with any of that type stuff. We want this logout button though, for sure. So let's jump into our account button component, and we got this separator here. So that's working. We want a separator that's sitting under here as well, which will be the same type of separator. There it is. You can vaguely see it. And then underneath there, let's grab the same styling that we have for this div section here, which is that, and use it for our logout button. We probably don't need the row part though. So let's just do a q-button for now, and we'll create a new component for this, and we'll call it log out. And we're going to have to say no caps because by default you get all caps with a button. No dash caps. There we go. All right, so we've got our logout button. Obviously that styling is completely different, so let's try and make it a little bit more similar. First of all, this is a flat button. There we go, so that's flattened it out. Let's say align to the left. Align is equal to left to send that over to the left. I thought you could do that. Text, I don't know what that is. Let's come over here to API Explorer, Q button, and I'm sure there was something to do with align. Content. Align left. That's exactly what I did. All right, so I don't know what that's all about. Maybe I have to do a page refresh or something. Or maybe it is aligned to the left, but the padding is getting in the way. So how about we come in here and we say dense. Yeah, it was just a matter of removing the padding. Oh, I'm not sure I want to remove that padding. You need it though. You don't really have a choice because it needs to be aligned properly across the left side. Yeah, okay. I think that's fine, but maybe we can make it full width. No, it's overkill. Let's just leave this as is. And can I change the font on a button? I actually don't know if you can. There might be some way that we can do this. So basically we want to say, we want to make the font thin. And I think there is something for that. There's like a, you know what, I'm just going to yank this out and go full screen here. I think we can say weight. It's got something to do with font weight. Gosh, I love these docs. And then we can say text weight regular, or maybe even text weight light. It looks like that's what they're usually going with. I'm going to throw this on my bottom screen and then just bring it up whenever I need it, so I can just kind of whack it up and down like that. So let's come over here and see if I can change the font weight on a button directly. I'm actually not sure that you can. Well, there you go. You definitely can because it worked. Woohoo! Yeah, I actually think I like the font weight of light, but it's looks like it's closer to regular in the Trello theme. Yeah, look, that's fine to me. I'm not going to spend any more time on this. Gives you a basic idea of how you can kind of copy this functionality in here. Why am I not getting the icon now? Okay, now it is showing up. Weird. Cool. All right, let's leave it at that for now. However, I now need to implement the functionality of this button. So let's cut it, and then let's say logout button. And then I can come over here and say import logout button. Where's that coming from? Components / logout button.view. Now we need to actually say import. Oh no, wait, I already imported it. Components, and then come in here and say logout button. Cool. Now we actually need to create that component. Quasar new component logout button. Now we should be able to click through there, and we can paste that in there, save it, see if it works, and it did. Let's see if we can implement this functionality now. @click is equal to handle clicked. The reason I don't say handle logout clicked is because it's obvious it's logout because we're in a logout button. So now we can come down here and actually implement that by saying const handle clicked is equal to a function, and now we actually get to use the Sanctum auth plugin. Oh, I don't really need that. Let's go import what is it called? Use auth, and I'm importing that from Quasar UI Sanctum. There it is there. So now I should be able to say const auth is equal to use auth, and now we should be able to say auth.logout. Okay, so when we click this button, I want you to log out, then take the response, and I'm not going to handle any errors for now. we're going to use the router as well. So let's say import use router from view-router. So let's just copy paste that down, do a bit of clicking magic, router, and then when we've logged out, we're going to say router.push, and let's just take them to the login page. Okay, don't actually need that response. Think that is it. So handle clicked is now mapped to that. When we click on this button, it should log the user out and send them to that page. I'd be surprised if this works on a first pass, but hey, let's see if it does. Logout. Cool. I think it worked. Now if I try to go to home, that should not work, and it does not. It takes me straight back here because I am logged out. Cool. Now let's say john@example.com, and then the password is password. Once we've got our user state set up, we're going to make it so, of course, this would not show up if you are not logged in. Oh, that close button does nothing, so we need to implement that as well. So let's log in and just make it so that the close button actually does something. And I think there's a quick way of doing that. You can say like v-close-popover, I think. Nope. I've got that wrong. So let's bring up the trusty docs. And there's a directive section in the docs. Here it is here. Close pop-up. And the directives are... How do I actually use it though? Oh, here we go. It shows you down here. V-close pop-up. I'm pretty sure I can literally just go like that. And then we can just... There we go. And it just does the magic behind the scenes to close the pop-up. How cool is that? All right, so we've implemented this little menu section here. Oh, I can't wait to get to the fun part. I'm not going to do that. It feels weird to use the Trello logo. Like, it just feels like that would be wrong or something. Ooh, we should have this create section, though. I might leave that for later because even though I really want to do it right now, I want to get to, like, the more fun stuff. What else have we got? We're not going to need that because we don't have all of these other applications. However, yeah, you know what? Let's just work on the page itself now. So I'm going to come back to the main layout, get rid of this menu button for now, maybe just comment it out because we probably will bring it back in. That will be an MDI-menu, by the way. Let's see if that actually works. Yeah, now we actually get the little hamburger sign, but we'll change that to, I think it's MDI Trello? Does that work? Yeah, we got the Trello icon, so we can go ahead and use that, and I'll add all the styling in and all that later on. But, okay, let's get rid of that for now. The next thing, what will I tackle next? Maybe starred workspace boards. Let's tackle that next. So we'll go to our workspace index page, and we'll say div, and let's say class is equal to row, and let's start with a div that is a class column extra small, and what is that? That's probably about an 8 out of 12. Yeah, probably an 8, maybe a 9. Let's go with a 9. And I'm going to just set a background color of this so I can get sort of the layout right first. Let's say background dash blue. And we need to give it some height as well so that this will work. So style is equal to height 400 pixels. This is often what I do when I'm doing layouts. And on the left side, my audio is very low. What can I do about that? I can turn that up a little bit. I can come in here and maybe turn this up a little bit. Advanced audio properties. Or maybe I can go to my sound settings and boost it in there. I think I've got like pulse audio. Yeah, I can give it a bit of a boost here as well. Testing. All right, that looks like it's a lot. Okay, it looks like it's too loud now. I want to make sure I'm in the yellow most of the time, talking to myself, blah, 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 blah. How about here? How about here? All right, that should be better. Let me know if that's better. If it's not, then I can adjust it again. All right, what's next? So this is going to be a 3, and this is going to cover this left section here. So let's say background, maybe just a gray -8, something like that. Yep, cool. That's not taking up enough space to me, so I'm going to change this to a 4, and let's change that to a 10 to adjust. Wait, my maths is flipped out now. Subtract, Luke, you ninny face. That's a little bit better. We probably need even more space though, so let's change that to a 7 and then that to a 5. Cool. I reckon that's about right. So next we want to add this starred workspace board section title thing. So maybe we can actually name this and call this like a workspace section. I don't know. Yeah, let's go with that. I'll come in here. This is the part we're going to work on first. And then we'll have a workspace section, or maybe a workspace list. Workspace boards. In workspace boards. Yeah, let's go with that. Cool. Copy that. And now we can say Quasar new component workspace boards. There we go. And now I can come down here and import that workspace boards from components/workspace-boards.view. Sweet. Components. And then we can whack it in there. So that's our workspace boards component. Isn't it lovely? And it's going to need some props. And how about we have an icon, which will be this icon here, and then a title. That seems appropriate. So props, and we'll have an icon, which will be required, and the type is going to be a string for that. Whoop, string. And we'll do the title before that. Title. And this is also going to be required. And the type of the title will be a string. Cool. Now I can come down here. And then, well, they're actually going to be exposed now. So I'm not sure there's actually much else I need to do. Oh, and of course, we're going to actually need the boards themselves. So how about we say boards required true. And that's going to be an array of boards. Tremendous. So for now, that's going to be an empty array of boards. So let's implement the title, the icon, and boards. So now what I should be able to do is basically go tra-la-la like that. Is equal to, we'll just say nothing for now so that it formats nicely for me. And let's do the first one here. So we got starred workspace boards as the title for that one. The icon, we can probably do MDI-star. Let me just open up my material design icon libraries. Star, because we want to have a star that's, okay, that's not working. I have to go full screen here. Star. And we're looking for a star that is empty. Keep on looking. We'll find one. There's definitely going to be just a blank star. Like, there's got to be. Okay, so there's star. We want this one here. Here we go. Star outline. Okay, so if I do that, can I? Yeah. Sweet. So now let's make that MDI star outline. Now for the boards, we're going to give that an empty array. Because we don't have any boards to play with for now. We're just working on UI, and then we'll hook it up to the back end in a little bit. So let's actually use all of that now. So I can probably jump out of this icon library. And first of all, we just want the title. And we might even make a whole new component for the boards. So we'll have to think about that as well. So for now, let's say div. And actually, no, we got to do the icon first, don't we? So let's say q-icon. Is that a button? Can I click on that? No, it's just an icon. And the name of this is whatever icon was passed through here. So let's make that something that's evaluated. And I think it's basically as simple as that. Obviously, we'll need to do some styling, but that should be enough for that. It's not doing anything. Why is it not doing anything? Might be a hot reload. Yeah, okay, so weird hot reload problem. But anyway, that's in there. We'll do the styling in a second. Then we want to have the text. Let's just see if the text shows up. Yep, it shows up right next to it, which is exactly what we want. So we just want to whack in the title of whatever that section is. There we go, start workspace boards. And what I might actually do here is class is equal to, let's say row. And the reason I do that is I can easily just say now items dash center. And that's just going to center the star with the text here. I think when I make that bigger, that will center a little bit more nicely. Cool. So that's kind of like a weird bluish color. I don't know if Quasar has a blue like that by default. So let's go to our color palette, because I know there's a gray blue and I really want to just find it. And is the palette on this page? No, well, wrong page. Color, style, there we go, color palette. And there's like this weird gray blue, which gives you some of those. Yeah, this is, so blue dash gray, that's what it is. So that's what I need to remember, blue dash gray, when I want to deal with those kind of interesting gray-blue colors. So I'll throw that back on my bottom screen. Blue dash gray, I've got to remember that. So this is going to be a blue dash gray star. Is that blue dash gray? I think it is. And we can say color is equal to blue dash gray dash, maybe like a 7. We're probably going to have to get rid of this background color now. I don't need it anymore. So if I go to the workspace page index, I can get rid of that background blue. And I feel pretty safe getting rid of that background gray as well. That was just for testing purposes. And we also don't need the height anymore. Cool. All right, so we also want to make this a lot bigger. Let's try large to begin with. That did nothing at all. Let's try 1.4 EM. Okay, this must be a hot module reload thing again. Yeah. So maybe 2.4. Yeah, getting there. And the icons are a little bit different, but that doesn't matter too much. I like theirs a lot better, actually, with the kind of curved off edges. It's much nicer. All right, so then we've got, we'll turn this into a span. Can you add a margin on a span? I'm actually not sure you can. Q dash margin left, let's say medium there. Okay, there we go. That works fine. So let's set that to maybe small, medium. I don't know. Let's use the same blue-gray color there. So I'll just copy that part and we'll say text dash blue-gray 7. Okay, 7 is definitely way too light. Let's change it maybe to a 9. And that is a little bit better. I think when I make this bigger, it'll work well as well. So let's say size is equal to 1.4. I can't do size. I want a span element. Style is equal to, I believe it's font dash size 1.6 EM. Yes, that's right. I am using a style tag. I do it all the time because I only need to use bits and pieces here and there. And so I don't mind it. I like doing all of my styling directly in here, which is why you'll often see me do style stuff with a style tag like that. Might try, if you don't like it, try it. Maybe you'll like it. Otherwise, you can then come back to me and say how silly my coding is. All right. We might just do a little bit of like, I don't know, text dash weight dash bold maybe. Bolden it up a little bit. Yeah, that's a little bit better. It's not perfect, but it'll probably do. What about regular? Is that what it originally was? Yeah, I don't know. There's no like in between. Is there an in between? I don't know. We'll leave it at that. So that's that top section bit here. And now let's add the cards in. So these shouldn't be too hard to build, said everybody before they regretted saying something like that. But let's see what happens. So next, I think we will say here Q-cards. Not Q. Let's say board cards. I don't know. Board list cards. Cards list. Workspace. Yeah, this is just a list of cards. So let's say cards list. Yeah, cards list. Naming things is hard. So something feels wrong about that name, but anyway, I'm using it for now. Import that from components / that.view. And we want to have components sitting on here. Tralala. So, it switched it for me. It wanted the components part to be at the top. I'm fine with that. Thank you, Mr. Linter. Quasar new component, and we'll call it the cards list. So now we should be able to click into that. But before I do that, I'm going to make sure I actually pass down my boards. Oh, it's not a card, isn't it? Boards list is what this should be called. Boards list, yeah. I don't know, but Quasar already. The reason I'm stalling on this is because Quasar already has a list component, and I always try and make this last word here represent a Quasar component. Okay. Unfortunately, in this scenario, I feel like I just need to use the word list though. So let's say boards list. Or maybe I can say boards list cards. Boards list cards. Yeah, screw it. I'm going to do that. So what do we name this component? Cards list. Cards list dot view. Rename that to boards list cards. It doesn't feel right saying it, does it? But I'm going to stick with that for now. And then we'll send the boards right through there. Boards is equal to those boards. So let's control click here. And now we can go ahead and build those cards. So let's say we'll call that a boards card. And so I'm going to have to come in here and say props. And this is going to accept those boards. And the type is going to be an array. And this is definitely required. This component doesn't make sense without it. And then what I'll do is I'm actually going to say, I'm going to nest this one level deeper because I'm going to then say board card here. Just in case I want to have a board card on its own. It's important to separate things out like this. And I want to make sure I'm doing this remotely properly. So let's say board card there. Quasar new component board card. There we go. And now we can import that here. Import board card from components / board card. Board card dot view. And then we can come in here and say v-4 board in boards. And then the key is going to equal the board.id. So what I might do now is basically use some dummy data so that we can go ahead and build this. So we've got our workspace boards. Let's just whack in some dummy data boards here. And to do that, I might just go to our boards table. We have a title, Quasar color, is favorite, and I won't bother with the workspace for now. So how about this? Title. I might even just use some real life boards that I have. Quasarcast.com. Quasar color. This is probably going to be blue. And then is favorite is equal to true. Cool. I need to put a comma in there. And now let's copy paste that down. And we'll copy paste it down a few times because we want to see what it's like when you have lots of boards there. So now we can go to workspace boards. We've got our boards list cards, which is going to represent an individual card. No, it's going to represent this list of cards. So let's go into there. We've got our board card here. It's not being used yet. Let's say components. There it is there. And then we're iterating over all of our boards. So now they're showing up. Okay, really cool. This is not displaying correctly. I believe with view 3, we can now do this. Oh, why is this yelling at me? Oh, it thinks that I'm writing view 2 code. Why do you think I'm writing view 2 code? You know what? I probably need to do some linting related stuff. Oh, God, I hate dealing with this sort of thing. Okay, so vector config, or maybe like vector monorepo. You know what? Let's get out of that and actually use my bigger browser here. That's okay. You guys are probably going to run into similar problems as well. So at least I've got an idea of how to solve this problem. Oh yeah, that was correct. And there's a way you can yeah, here we go. So veta.config.js. Let's go ahead and make that in our root directory. We just basically need to tell Veta how to deal with a mono repo, which is kind of the layout that we have here. So I'm going to paste that in, even though I'm just going to completely cull most of it. I think I need to set that to false. I'm pretty sure it causes me issues, so let's set that to false for now. And then for projects, we basically need to point to our project. So I'm going to come in here, get rid of that. We're just going to use a shorthand, and I believe it is just /app. So save that. I think that's all I need to do. What do I need to do though to make it think that it's view 3? Okay, if this takes too long, I'm just gonna push on and deal with it. But what's making it think that I'm in view 3, that I'm not in view 3 land? So ESLint should know that I'm using view 3 in this scenario. Veta. Oh, actually, I probably need to restart everything. Can I say like restart VLS server? Let's see if that works. Haha, it worked. Okay, so if you ever run into that problem, you need to create a veta.config.js file. This is because the root of my project is not app. It's because the root of my project has got multiple folders in it. Veta doesn't know what to do, or it messes up a little bit. So basically, you need to say, hey, Veta, these are all of my Vue projects. This is where they all belong, and that's what this is right here. So that's why I needed to get that set up. All right, so let's get back into developing this. I can throw this back down on the bottom screen. Cool. All right, so these components are showing correctly now. That's sort of sitting on its own there. Now, for boards list cards, do I want it to know how to display itself, or do I want the workspace boards to be in charge of that? I think I want the boards list cards to be in charge of that. Yeah, so I might come in here and let's say class is equal to, I think I can just say a row here, and these seem to have a fixed width and a fixed height, which is wonderful to work with. So let's say width is equal to, you know what, I'm just totally going to steal their width and height here. Don't tell anyone. Oh, I think it tells you when you hover over it, doesn't it? So 193, so I'm just going to say 194 by 96. Let's go with that. Throw this back down here again. 194 by 96. Width, 194 pixels. And then the height is just 96 pixels, I believe. Let's save that. Okay, cool. This is looking a little bit better now. They've got some margining in between them. So I believe what you can do, if I get this correct, is you can say, because something about a gutter. It's like grid-gutter. Oh, bugger. I'm going to have to bring up the docs here. Let's just get this right. Gutter. Give that a second to load. Flex, gutters. How to use the Quasar grid for gutter spaces. And here we go. This is what I want. Q-gutter- whatever you want the gutter to be. So let's go with that. Q-gutter-small. And these are going to have a color. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to see what's going on there. So let's say class is equal to background. Oh, we already gave them a background. So the class is equal to, let's make this an array. And I can just say here, I can say board. No. What am I going to do here? Background dash board dot quasar underscore color. I believe that's what it is. Yeah, there we go. That worked really well. And now we want those borders to be rounded. So I believe what I can do is say class is equal to border rounded. rounded borders maybe. If that doesn't work, I'll switch to the docs, rounded dash borders. There we go. That's rounded the borders off for me nicely. This has a little bit of padding. So let's say Q dash padding or dash small. There we go. That looks good. And this should actually be sitting on the board itself. What am I doing? So let's cut all of that. Save it. Come into the board here and paste it in there. Okay, I can't directly paste it in there. I want to paste it in there. So this needs to accept the board. And so let's come in here and say the board is required, yes, and it is going to be an object. All right. So now the next thing I want to do is come back here and make sure that that board is being passed through. Board is equal to the board. Let's refresh this and see if it works. Nice, it's all working. I'm going to work on the layout a little bit in a second, but that's pretty good for now. So this needs to be white, and then we need to have this little favorite button in the bottom right there. I like this. I like how they've just left a big space there. It's like, who cares? I do what I want. I like that. So let's come in here and make sure the board text is being used, which I believe is board.title, is it? There we go, quasarcast.com. We also want it to be bold. So we can come in here and say text-weight-bold. That worked. And of course, text-white. Nice. We want to make the size slightly bigger. And so we can come in here and say, actually, rather than doing it on the div, I'll do it on the board title itself. So let's wrap that in a span. And we'll say style is equal to font-size. And how about we say 1.2 EM? That sounds about right. Okay, slightly smaller than that. But it doesn't matter. I'm being too persnickety. Yep. Happy with that. And, you know, the colors don't match exactly, but we'll be able to set that to whatever we like. And that is looking pretty good. What else do we need to do here? It's starting to reach the point where this board section is pretty much finished. Let's come back here. So workspace boards has got it's got the boards list cards. That's the one that should have the row. Okay, with the Q gutter of small, let's make that extra small. Because really I want to make sure that they fit. Yeah, when I go a little bit wider, it then fits. And let's change that to small just to check if that's the right size. Yeah, okay, that's closer to the right size. And you know what? That little bit of slight difference in the size does not matter at all. It's one of those things where it's like, we don't need to make this perfect. Spot on. All right, so we want a little bit of margining under here, and then we'll add another one of these underneath, and then I believe that that section is done, at least in terms of design, and then we can kind of add this bit here. So how do I handle this? We want to go to the workspace boards. This is our board list card, so that's this whole section here. We want... Oh, wait, maybe I'm getting lost. I'm getting lost in all my components now. Workspace index page, workspace boards. Okay, so that's this section here, I believe. And it's got this title. So we jump into that now. What we want to do is add a little margin at the bottom of the title. Okay, here we go. I'm in the right spot now. Q-margin bottom medium. Whoa, that was not what I wanted. Cut that bad boy and put it on the div. And there we go. Medium might be slightly too much, so let's say small. Cool. I think that's pretty similar. I like that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is add another one of these sections in. So we go to that index section. Let's create another set of workspace boards. I already know that that layout works nicely. Let's go full screen there. Yep, so we can work on that in a second, but that layout works nicely for me. I might delete some of these since I am happy with it now, just to get like a similar representation to what I've got here. So what I should be able to do is copy paste this down. And now what have I got? People, Quasarcast Dream 100. We'll grab this title first. The title is Your Workspace Boards. The icon is going to be MDI dash, I believe it is account dash outline. Yeah, there we go. We've got the same one here. And now here I'm going to say the class is equal to Q dash margin bottom dash medium. Hello. That did nothing at all. Why would that do nothing at all? Margin bottom extra large? What's that going to do? My server's still running? Am I missing something here? Margin bottom extra large. It's just not showing up. Weird. What happens if I do a padding bottom? Man. Has this already got like a margin on it that's getting overwritten? Oh, okay. Okay, this is because I've got multiple child components. So in this scenario, it probably does make sense to wrap that within its own div, so that I can actually configure it from this level. So now I can say Q dash margin bottom dash large. And there we go. It's going to work. So is large a good amount? Honestly, it looks like it's slightly more than that. Maybe like extra large. If it's too much, then yeah, okay, that's about right. I'm happy with that. So your workspace boards, and then we've got people, Quasarcast Dream 100. So let's get that done. By the way, if you like these kinds of videos where I talk about this sort of thing, then definitely check out quasarcast.com/register. This is where I do videos like this. A lot of it isn't live streams though. They're cleaner videos where it's a lot more organized and pre-planned. So, you know, especially for like beginner type stuff. I've covered quite a few topics on this website. So yeah, definitely check out quasarcast.com if you're interested in this kind of thing. But anyway, moving on. We got people, which is got this kind of like reddish background. So let's save that and see if it works. Oh, whoops, I've done that in the wrong area. People is in this one here. So we'll say people, red is favorite. I believe that's set to false. Can we do like a darker red? Maybe like a red -8 or -9. Yeah, and then let's come over here and say Quasarcast Dream 100. And that one's like kind of a nice purple, maybe like a purple 4. Yeah, that's the right concept. And let's just do a couple more. So this one is quasarcast.com. I probably shouldn't be spending so much time on this stuff. It's not exactly the most interesting stuff, is it? Quasarcast.com, let's make that like 8, blue 8. And then we have the Quasar Show. Quasar Show. This is the greatest show. Set these all to false. I think some of those actually were set to true, but doesn't matter. And then the last one, we'll set it to gray. Maybe gray -6. Yep. Gray -7. Cool. And then this is the website. I'm going way too overboard with entering all this data in. Anyway, it's looking good though. Then we want to have another section under here. Oh, first let's just add that favorite button in. Oops, so they got rid of it from the favorites, whereas clicking on it like this adds it to the favorites. So I think if we go to workspace boards, we basically want to say if there is a favorite, if this has been favorited, then I want you to show that little favorite star down the bottom. So we want to just go directly to the board.view, boardcard.view. And how am I going to do this? What's the best way to do this? probably setting this to a position relative and then setting this to a position absolute. So let's say position dash relative, and then I think you just put in the word absolute. So let's just say star to represent where the star will be. Class is equal to absolute, but then we're also going to have to say bottom, maybe like, I don't know, 12 pixels, and then right 12 pixels. Let's see what that does. Oh, cool. It did nothing at all. Position relative, or is it relative position? Once again, we'll have to check the docs here. Helpers, or I think maybe just position dash relative. CSS position, okay, so there it is there. Oh no, that's not it. CSS helpers, can I just do that? Typography. I want helpers in relation to positioning things. Let's just say relative here. Again. I'll just look at the titles. Quasi color utilities. I know this exists. Oh, I'm in the wrong docs, by the way. Not that it matters because they're very, very similar. How about this? Absolute. Positioning. Here we go. Now, relative is relative dash position. So there we go. It's the other way around. Boop. 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 And then absolute, I'm pretty sure, is actually... Oh, what's this? Bottom right. Absolute, but no way! We've got an absolute bottom right class? Ha! That's going to do all the work for us. Is that actually going to work? Oh my gosh! There's an absolute bottom right. I'm going to abuse that like crazy. Oh, the only problem is I need to... Oh no, now I can just do this. Ready? Q dash marginal, maybe small. Yeah, okay, so now let's set that to the icon. Q dash icon, and let's give it a name equal to a MDI dash star dash outline, I believe it was called. All right, this is looking similar. Oh, weird. It kind of like pushes up a little bit. So how about this? We say Q dash margin right small, and then Q dash margin bottom extra small maybe. Yeah. All right, that looks pretty good. We'll make the size a little bit bigger. So let's come in here and say size is equal to... What happens if I say small there? Whoa, too big. Extra small. Yeah, still kind of too big, but not bad. So I might even just say my own size. 1 EM, let's see what that gives us. And so we'll say 1.15. That's probably about right. Yep, and then we'll set the color equal to yellow. Gosh, I don't think I've ever used a yellow color in a design. But there we go. So we've got a pretty similar design here for the workspace boards. And the last thing I think I'll do is set up this create new board button down the bottom there. And then I might move on to implementing Vuex ORM so that we can manage our models and start actually fetching some data from the back end and make some of this stuff live. Yeah, and then I'll probably finish it for today. So the goal, before I finish this video, is to set up Vuex ORM with the back end and make it so that all of this data that you're seeing here is live data. That will be the goal. Let's see if we can make it happen. So we've got to create new board. I don't know if you would call that a button. We probably could use a button and just give it a crap load of padding. So how about this? Quasar, new, create new board button. Oh, we're going to say component. Create new board button. Or just create board. Why would I write the word new there? Probably because I read it on here. Create board button. All right, so now that create board button is going to sit just under here. So let's put the word here, there. Let's put the word here, there. Okay, no, that's on the board card. Workspace boards. Um, no, it's not really in there either, is it? It's really the workspace index page because it shouldn't have any. The workspace board shouldn't have any knowledge of what can create it. Let's say here. Let's see how that works. Okay, so that puts us there, and we might need to nest it one bit further. Cool. So we'll add a little bit of a margin top there. You know what? Let's just directly use the component. So let's say Q dash. No, what am I doing? You can see my brain is slowly starting to die. I've done quite a bit of coding for one day. A lot of coding. Been coding pretty much all day. That's not true. I went out with my family today. Had a good time at the at something called Black Butt Reserve. I kid you not, it's called Black Butt Reserve because we have a tree in Australia called the Black Butt Tree. Fun fact. And it's a really nice place. Marsupial type park with like lizards, and we saw like snakes and some cool stuff, so that was fun. All right, so that component needs to sit one further up, and there we go. Class is equal to Q dash margin top, maybe medium there. Yeah, that looks about right. Maybe even large. Yep, that's good. Let's go in and actually build this bad boy. Q dash button. By the way, notice I always say button rather than BTN. I don't know why, but it irks me that people are so obsessed with shortening the names of things. It takes virtually no time. Oh, I'm getting on a... I probably shouldn't get on a pedestal right now because there's probably a lot of people watching this that are thinking, well, I like short names. I personally hate short names of things because I feel like it just adds cognitive overhead. Because so often when I'm reading other people's codes, especially when you've got like X and Y and Z and W and F, and I'm just sitting there thinking, I don't know what this is. So I always name the crap out of things. I just try and name it as accurately as I can with as few words as I can. And that's why you'll never see me write BTN. Look, I get it. Like, people write BTN all the time. There are some exceptions like BTN because it is so ridiculously common. ID is another one. People say ID in the real world. So, like, nobody says bitten in the real world. And to me, I kind of always speak to me, like, writing code is like a story. It's almost like I'm reading a story. And when things are named in such a way where I have to think to figure out what the name of it is, I feel like that story just loses its flow. But anyway, that's how I feel about it. I have no science or anything to back it up, so don't listen to me on that one. Okay, so this actually doesn't need any styling. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create this as a button with no styling, but then I'll add the styling from the outside world, which will make this component super, super flexible. Ooh, I don't know about this part here, though. Adding that little question mark might kind of ruin all of my plans. Crap, this is going to ruin all of my plans. Okay, so let's call this a create board card then. Create board card. Okay, do your best. See if you can fix it all for me. And now we'll say Q-card. And then I'll come over here after that massive rant. And now I'm like going back to this. So let's go to board card. Actually, is there any reason I couldn't just use a board card? I don't think so. Use it. Oh, but then I got to pass the board card a board, so I probably can't use a board card. They really are different things. Okay, anyway, create board card. So let's come back here. I need to grab the sizing of that. But I don't want to use it on the card itself. I want to use that externally. So create board, change that from button to card. Card, like so. And then I'm going to add the styling in there. So now, there we go. Why am I getting that? Why is it still working like a button? I made it a card. What's going on? Save. Is this spazzing out on me? Can I say spazzing out? I don't know if I can. You got to be careful what you say these days. It's very easy to offend people. Anyway, I think I can say flat here. Yeah, there we go. So that flattens that out. And now let's say the the class is equal to background dash gray dash 2 maybe. Yeah, that's kind of a similar grayish background color. The next thing I want to do is add some text in the center of that, which is pretty easy using Quasar. Let's add a Q. Actually, I can just directly put the text in there. So we might just have 2 divs for the 2 bits of text, like this. Create new board, and then, for example, I'm not going to add the 5 remaining actually because that doesn't really make sense with what we're building. So save that, create new board, and now we can do some magic by saying flex, and then flex dash center. I'm pretty sure I can do that, and that centers it. And now let's make the font weight thin. Text dash weight dash thin, I think it is. Yeah, that's a little bit too thin. I don't know. Anyway, let's say class is equal to text dash. Is this black? No, this is the blue-gray one. Is it blue-gray or gray-blue? I've forgotten again. Blue dash gray. Let's see what that does. Yes. And then maybe add like a 9 there. Okay, let's get rid of this. Change it back to regular. Yeah, all right, that looks good. Now let's set the style here equal to font size. Whoa, what did I do? I accidentally pressed my start button. Font size 1.2 EM. That's too much. Maybe 1.1. There, maybe 1.15. It always seems to be 1.15 for some reason. And I am happy with that. Okay, so this is letting us know about the free workspaces thing. I don't need to implement that, so that's fine. I probably could have just made this a button then. Q-button? Let's see what that does. Then you need to do stuff like no caps here. So let's say no dash caps. All right. Yeah, but now I'm going to have to add font weight back in again. Text dash weight dash thin. Did that work? That seemed to do nothing at all. Is it text or is it font? It's doing nothing. Okay, well, let's go one level deeper and say here, text dash, I'm pretty sure it's text, weight dash thin. Man, it's not working. Oh no, it is working. Just needed a refresh. Okay, there we go. Now we've got our create new board button, and we can actually implement that functionality a lot more easier now that it is a button. All right, but can I put all of this on here? That's important for styling reasons. I'll tell you in a second why. Save that. Let's see if we get the same thing. Yes, we do. Now, the reason is I always try and keep my my components as raw as possible and push the styling up the chain. And the reason is if you try and push your styling further and further up the chain rather than giving your components a lot of knowledge about the styling, you end up in situations where you can't style things how you want to. Even this flat part here, I'd actually get rid of that as well and keep it as a raw button, right? And then if we come back here, we end up with something, not what we wanted. But we now add the styling directly on here. So let's come in here, add that in there, get rid of that. And now we can probably just grab that, add it in there, and get rid of that, save it, and there we go. We get the same thing again, but it means that I'm styling things from here. So this create board, it's not card, it's a button now. But anyway, this create board button becomes extremely flexible, and I can use it all over the site. So that's a philosophy that I try and follow when I'm coding using Quasar. So create board button. There we go. Let's jump into that component, the create board card, rename it to a create board button. Everything should work. Bibbidi bobbidi boop, and there we go. It does. Now, I think we're ready to actually start implementing some of our components now, so that this data here is actually live. That would be a lot of fun. And then I might build this left section a little bit later on, or decide if it even makes sense to have this left section or to just use this menu. I don't know. I'll think about that as I sleep tonight and then come up with a solution tomorrow. But yeah, I can close this now because now we are just going to focus on, oh man, I just got out of it. Now I'm going to get back into it again. There's one last thing I need to do, which is the menu that pops up when you go to create a new, board. Here we go. So they got like this dialogue. I don't need to worry about that. All I need to worry about is this section in here. This is a weird looking dialogue. What does it look like full screen? Yeah, man, I've got to admit, that looks kind of weird to me. But we'll go with it. No caps attribute is applied to components. All right, so my brain's shutting down. I just need to kick it back into gear and say, look, Luke, it's time. You just got to keep pushing on and make it happen. So we're going to want to use one of my base components here, which is a button that when you click it, it opens up a dialog. So I'm going to go ahead now and create that component because it's going to make it much easier to make it so that when we click on this, it shows a dialog. And you'll probably see why in a second. Quasar, new, let's call this B dialog button. This is one of my favorite, all-time favorite patterns. New component, B dialog button, and there it is there. I really should just make my own component library so that this is easier. So here's our B dialog button, and here's how it works. First of all, it is a button, and then when this button is clicked, at click, we then say that the dialog, or how about show dialog is equal to true. So now I can come in here and say const show dialog is equal to a reference that's going to be equal to false by default, and then I import ref here, ref, and that's going to come from view. And there we go. Now we can expose this here, and now we can say q-dialog, and then we're going to slot in any data that we get directly into there. And then we're going to say v-model is equal to show dialog. There we go. So what this means is when I click on this button, show dialog will be equal to true. Therefore, this dialog will show anything that we add inside of this component is automatically going to be sent to the Q dialog. So let's go ahead and see if this actually works now. Wow, that actually wasn't so bad. We come to create board button. We can change this to a, what did I call it again? I think I called it B dialog button. Yep. We can change this to a B dialog button. And now I can come down here and say components, B dialog button. We need to import that as well. Import B dialog button from components / B dialog button dot view. Bam. So now when we click on, we've lost some styling. That's okay. Let's control click on that. I should not lose styling. Why am I losing styling here? Are we using... Yeah, we should be using view 3 here. Quasar info. Because from memory, everything is automatically proxied. At least attributes like that are automatically proxied with view 3, I thought. Okay, so we are using view 3. What's going on here? Q-button. That's styling. So the B dialog button should then receive that styling, which should then be proxied down. But it's not. Create board button. Oh, of course, because this text is now going to sit in that dialog component. Man. So what we might need to do is come back here. I just realized I've done something weird. That text is not meant to be sitting in a div. We want to be able to send it directly through as the label here and then say content of button there like that. There we go. So that did actually work. So create new board, and now when we click on it, it shows the content of whatever's in there. This is a pattern I use all the time. Makes it really, really simple to create buttons that when you click them, they show a dialogue. Really great for like creating things and deleting things when you want to have a confirmation. So now we can go ahead and start actually implementing this here. Okay, what have we got? We have a card. So let's just start off with a card. We'll probably put it all inside of a div. So let's say q-card and then a q-card-section. Oh, wrote it too quickly again. Section. And then we'll say content in here just to see what we get there. All right, so we get some content. It's got a white background. Instead of using images, by default, I'm just going to have colors here. So you're going to have a bunch of colors that you can select. So let's come down here and maybe... Oh, these kind of have to sit outside of it. Let's see what happens if I say here. All right, so that's what we want. It means that we can have these things kind of floating outside in their own like mini dialogue world or whatever you want to call it. But what happens if I put it inside of the div? Okay, cool. We still get that floating effect. So that means that I should be able to create these little squares here. Let's come in here and find out the size of those squares. What size are they? It didn't tell me. Usually shows up. All right, let's double click, see if that works. Oh, now they've changed size on me. Bah! All right, so I'm going to have to change this depending on the scenario. So let's just hard code some colors in for now. To do that, I'm going to have a div, and then I'll have another div where we can select the color. And this is going to have a style equal to, let's say width is equal to something like, I don't know, 60 pixels, and then a height of 60 pixels. Let's see what that does for us. All right, we need to give it something else, something like a background-blue. All right, so that's an example of one of our buttons. We might change that to a 50. Cool. Now we need to actually separate it a little bit. So we might add a margin here. Class is equal to q-margin or let's say medium and see what that gives us. There we go. So now we're getting that little bit of extra margining around it. But this looks like we're getting this weird sort of shadow here. So I wonder if there's a way that I can get rid of that shadow. Let's say dialogue. Where's that shadow actually coming from? Where's my dialogue? B dialogue button. All right, so I shouldn't be getting any shadows here unless it is built into the API of B dialogue. Is there anything here about a shadow? No, okay. Let's explore the API a little bit. Have they got an API Explorer out? Yeah, here it is here. I don't know where that shadow is coming from. Usually Quasar tries to keep things pretty raw, so I'm surprised that we've got that. Let's say rounded borders. Yep, to get that part done. The only thing that's annoying me is this shadow. It really shouldn't have a... How about this? Let's come in here to the dialogue itself and say content-classes shadow none. No. Okay, I'm going to come in here and play around a little bit. I bet you there's a way, though, that I can tap into this. So here we go. It's the dialogue inner. No, it can't be the dialogue inner. It's got to be something nested in there. So it's this part here that I need to tap into, I think. Box shadow is coming from Q dialogue inner. So worst case scenario, we can just turn it off by targeting this CSS. But I don't want to do it that way because it's janky as anything. I was about to swear. We swear a lot in Australia, so I need to hold my tongue a lot of the time when I'm doing live streams. I got that Aussie potty mouth. Comes so naturally to us. And then we hear ourselves in recordings and we just swear all the time. And it's like, goodness, not cool, man. Okay, so let's bring this up and look for the dialogue component. So we come into API here, dialog. So there's the Q dialog. Okay, so I was looking at the plugin before rather than the component. So there's nothing related to shadow. But if we come to style here, no. So what about content? There's got to be a way here. It's it's 2 a.m. Is it 2 a.m.? How do you know what time it is where I am? Oh, because you know I'm in Australia because I just said I'm in Australia. Oh, it's 12:03. Yep. This stuff that I really want to get done though. I don't want to. I know it's getting late, but we've got a long weekend. Do people? Let me ask that actually. Do any of you guys around the world get long weekends where every now and then you have a when you have like a holiday on Monday, for example, we call that a long weekend where you can just take basically you get a 3-day break instead of a 2-day break on the weekend. That's something that we do in Oz. Now, that's right. In Vue, this is a change in Quasar version 2. You can just say class directly like that, I think. Oh, did I just do it? Classes. Oh, you're from Tasmania. Oh, okay. Yes, I remember you. I think are you French? I think I remember you saying. Shadow none. That didn't work. That's right. I showcased your essay email builder, which was insanely cool. Oh, sorry. I'm doing something on the bottom screen. You guys can't see it. Let's bring that back up. So basically, I want to check shadow, the shadow helpers. No shadow. There we go. That's what it's called. So let's say here, no dash shadow. And see if that works. No, but I'm pretty sure it's not classes. I'm pretty sure it's just class. Refresh this again. Anyway, we can check to see where that no shadow is being put by coming in here like this. Okay, we can see it's not on that div. Is it on this div here? I'm not seeing it anywhere at all. Do I have to refresh the page? I think I already did refresh the page. I definitely added that no shadow class on. I don't see it on here at all. I don't see it on there. And now we've reached the part where we're at my components. So, okay, does it all the way up here? Okay, that's definitely not what I want. So can I say content class? Currently converting it to Quasar 2. Huge work because I'm going to use Composition API, TypeScript, and switch Stylus to Sass. Yeah, I was using Stylus as well. I'm really going to miss Stylus. I prefer it to Sass. I just feel like it's just more beautiful. But hey, sometimes I guess I just got to get over it. You know, some people, I guess more people just like Sass, and maybe it can do more or something that I don't know about. But whatever, people like what they like. I don't want to spend too much more time on this. If I can't figure it out, then I'm just going to target it directly with CSS, which makes me cringe. Ugh. Buh. Okay, so we got oh! Maybe that's it. That's not what I would have thought, though. That's kind of unintuitive to me. Content square. All right, that did nothing at all. Why is there a content square on the Q dialog? Forces content to have square borders. Right, so by default, the Q dialog must tell the content to have rounded borders. Okay. Does not use a backdrop, should use... If anybody else wants to work on this problem, then go for it. You'll be my hero. If there's a way that you can do this in a natural kind of way to get rid of that sort of shadow on the Q dialog component without having to write any CSS. But if I have to write CSS, fine. I'll write CSS. Fine. Oh, God, you can feel the anger falling off of me. All right, so what's the best way to do this? I think I'm just going to do it application wide. So what I might do is I'll go to my SAS app.scss, and I'm literally just going to whack it directly in here. This is going to be embarrassing. Now I have to write CSS in a live stream. Oh, and there's people watching too. There's people actually watching this live stream, watching me write CSS. What a bloody tragedy. Box shadow none. Yeah, but can I do that directly on it? The problem is that I don't want to have to write CSS in a separate class. So can I do this? Box shadow none. I don't think that'll work because the problem actually is deeper. Yeah, it's a deeper nested component, which I actually don't have direct access to. So I don't have any choice but to write some CSS. So we're basically going to get rid of the box shadow manually. So I'll click on here. Let's find out where this is so we can target it. There it is there, and that's being targeted in here somewhere. Put in the word shadow there. Here we go. Inside of that, so I should be able to just grab that code, grab that selector, whack it in there. Gosh, this is so dodgy. As you can tell, I have no idea what I'm doing with CSS, which is why I love Quasar, because I never have to write it. All right, Luke, stop your whining, stop your moaning, and get it done. Should do a podcast on that. Stop your whining and moaning and get it done. There we go. At least we have what we want now. We got rid of the shadow. And now we just tuck this away and pretend that it doesn't exist. Ooh, CSS. Woo. All right, I did it now. I feel disgusting. Let's move on. So what were we doing? We're actually doing something handy, which was creating these little buttons here. And we're going to have one for every color. Let's say blue. That'll be like green, red, I don't know, orange, purple. Just do a whole bunch of them. Green. Or indigo. I love indigo. Everybody does, including me. Indigo. Ooh, nice. Orange. And how about we call this, blah, 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 what's another color? Purple. But then we've got indigo and purple. You know what? It doesn't matter. I don't like them though because they got that kind of ugly too boldness to them. So let's say 4 just to soften them up a little bit. Ah, that's nicer. A little bit more pastel. And now let's turn this into a row. And there we go. It is now a row. And then we can say Q dash gutter dash extra small. Let's see how that works out. Tremendous. How about small? That's probably a little bit better. Yep, I'm happy with that. We might even be able to turn these into buttons. Yeah, let's make them buttons. Q dash button. Then we get a bit of freestyling that looks really nice. Yeah, there we go. We can kind of click them on and off like that. Let's flatten all of these buttons up. Flattening the buttons. There we go. Cool. So now you'll be able to click on that, and then we can work on this section up here. Let's flatten that out as well. And we want to have a title here. Whatever we've got selected is going to change our color, and it's going to change the background of this section here. And so this is going to be an input. So Q-input, and it's going to be a borderless input, it looks like. And how about we say here, placeholder is equal to add board title. Save it. There we go, add board title. We want to make it a bit denser, so let's say dense. Add board title. Nice. Why is it spaced out so much from the top there? I don't know. Is it actually spaced out that much? No, they're actually pretty similar. It just looks like it. I think I'm seeing things. So next thing I might do is try and add this button in here. And I might actually do that with a position absolute. So let's say class is equal to relative position. And then we'll say Q dash icon. Or should I make this a button? No, we'll do icon because that's what they do. And by the way, there's a class, a really cool class. It's like cursor dash pointer, I think it is. Which means that when you hover that thing, where's my icon? Just put it in there. Oh, I didn't give it a name. Name equals MDI dash close. There we go. And that means that when I hover over it, I get the pointer. This is like a really helpful little class we've got. And now we can say position. No, we don't have to say that. We just say absolute. Can I say absolute dash top dash right? That'd be amazing if I could. No, yeah, that did seemingly nothing at all. So let's say absolute. And then let's say style is equal to left, maybe like 22 pixels. What happened to it? That's relative. That's absolute. Therefore, it should be here, right? Or am I just going nuts? Let's try refreshing the page and have another crack at it. All right, let's do a little bit of investigating here. Inspector Luke is on the case. And that's our card. No, that's not our card. That's the... Okay, so this is the relative position. This is the icon. Okay, this might be a Z index thing. Because it fell out of the flow. Now the index of the dialogue is taking over there. So how about we say here, Z dash index is equal to, I don't know, 3? Let's try that. Yep, sweet. Let's try 2. I'm going to choose this lowest one that I can. I don't know what it is on Quasar by default. 1 might even work. Cool. What'll happen if I do 0? Just curious. It disappears. Well, there you go, Luke. What a surprise. And now let's come up here and throw that onto the right by saying, not left, we want to say right. And it looks like it's about, I don't know, 12 pixels. So right 12 pixels, and then we can say top 12 pixels. There we go. And we can just give this a little bit of styling. So we're going to make it text-white. I think I can even say color here is equal to white. Let's see if that works. Yeah, well, we can't see it now, obviously, because this needs to have its background color. So I'll sort that out and make it dynamic later. But for now, let's just say blue-4. Whoa. I've done that in the wrong thing, haven't I? We want that in the card. So class is equal to blue-4. In fact, really, this should be sitting down here, shouldn't it? Yeah, that should be sitting there. And then that should be sitting within the card. So let's try this and see if that works. And it does. Looks a little bit redonkulous. But this looks kind of redonkulous too, to be honest. Redonkulous is not a word, by the way. Do not quote me on that. And now we want to set the placeholder color for that to white. It's going to look ridiculous if it's not white. Q-input. And let's say class is equal to text-white. Can I just say here text color? I don't know. How do you change the color of an input? There's probably a way that you can do that. Q input. And let's look for all the color related stuff. Label color, background color. No, not label. Placeholder is actually different. Yeah. Because by default, Quasar doesn't really do much placeholder related stuff. Oh man, how do I change the... You know what we could do? I think I remember hitting this problem before, and what I did No, that's a dumb idea. Scrap that. I didn't even share it with you, but I'm not even going to tell it to you because it was a bad idea. Let's come in here. And how do we change placeholder color? Change placeholder color CSS. Oh man, guys. Sorry, I am really slowing down. Placeholder. Right, this is the only one I care about. Can I just do this directly in here? Oh man, I know nothing about CSS. I know nothing. Is that gonna work? Is it? Work for me. Ooh. Like, or with these pseudo selectors, do I need to add in? I never even use these selector thingies. I don't even know what you call them. Placeholder, or do I try and do that directly on the input? If anybody knows this, if anybody actually understands CSS, unlike me, I mean, I understand it, quote unquote, but if anybody knows how to deal with that, I can see 9 of you are online. So don't be lazy. Tell me how to deal with sending the placeholder color in Quasar with a Q input. And I might just move on for now. So let's make this small again. And then it looks like here you set the workspace. So we get a menu to select a workspace there. And we don't have to do this board remaining thing since obviously everything that we're doing here is going to be free. So that should not be too hard to make. I wonder if I can get a Q select and turn it into that. No, this isn't really a Q select. This is really a menu button. Or is it a Q select? No, this is more like a menu. So let's work on that section next. Let's say here, really this is just like, it's just a button, isn't it? Yeah, it's just a button with an icon on the right side that opens a menu. So let's say Q-button, a Q-menu nested within that, and we'll say my menu just to check if that works. And then the label of this button is going to be quasarcast.com, just as an example. And then I can say write is equal to, I think this is called like a caret. Let me just go through my icon libraries. It's not my icon library, MDI. I think it's called like caret, like that, or is it caret? No, let's look for arrow dash down. All the arrow down related stuff. Man, this is a lot of icons to choose from. We will get there. Oh no, that's all of them. Oh, what is it then? I know it exists. I know that it exists in this library. It's like a down or something. Something down related. Come on. Well, what was that? Okay. It looks kind of like this, but it's not that. I should totally turn this into like a smoother, complete series once I've done this live stream series. Just like a really smooth how to build a Trello clone. So everybody thinks that oh, Chevron, that's what it's called. So you guys might watch some of my smoother videos and think, oh, wow, Luke is like so on the ball. He figures things out so quickly. It's like, no, I do it beforehand so that you don't get to see all of this sloppy stuff. Which is kind of the point, but anyway. Cool. All right, that's working. Now we can say cover here, which means that the menu is going to cover the button, which is exactly what happens here, which is why I put that in. What else? So now we need to make this a lot smaller. So let's come to the button itself and say size is equal to small. Okay, that's looking pretty good to me. This is definitely going to have to be flat, and we also want text color to be equal to white. All right, that's looking good. We want to say here no dash caps to get rid of that capitalization. It looks like small is a little bit too small, so let's go back to medium. All right, so that's not bad. We just need to get rid of some of the padding. So let's say here padding is equal to, I don't know, 4 pixels. Does that sound about right? Not really. It's probably like 4 pixels on the right and left, and then probably something like 2 pixels on the top. So I believe we can say 2 pixels and then 4 pixels, and that'll handle that for us. Or is it the other way around? No, that looks about right. Maybe just subtract 1 here. Just turn this to 1 pixel. Cool. All right, so that's pretty much doing what that's doing. And then we got this workspace visible thing. I don't need that. It's not really relevant to what we're creating, so we can skip that part. So all we're going to have here is the name of it and then the workspace, which you can select in here. And let's go ahead and work on that menu. This should be easy with a Q list, I think. Q-list, Q-item, and then let's just do a Q-item-section and whack out a couple of those to see how it works out in the end. I'll say piano focus, quasarcast.com, solfire.me. Piano focus. This is interesting, by the way, because it tells you a lot of the things that I've done in the past. This is like a history of me. quasarcast.com. Oh, you right, puppies? Gosh, one of my dogs just made the weirdest noise. It was like, I can't believe that just came out of a dog's mouth. Solfire.me. There we go. Okay, cool. That's working. It's obviously not perfect. We just need to densify it. Densify it. That's totally not a word. Dense. That's pretty darn close, isn't it? Yeah, I reckon just like a little bit of maybe margin, I don't know, margin on the y-axis of maybe extra small. Just feel like you need like a little bit of extra margining there. And that, maybe we'll make that a small. And there we go. I reckon that looks pretty good. We want these to be selectable, and we can simply do that by saying, do you say clickable here? No, I don't think you can do that. I think you have to do it on the individual items, which is unfortunate. Yeah, so for each of these Q-items, let's just grab that part so I can multi-select them. Clickable. Let's see if that worked. Yep, there we go. Now they get that sort of clickable feel. And that's pretty much exactly what they've got there, except they're using that really nice bluish color. Oh, diddly-dee. Well, let's use the blue. Class is equal to text dash blue dash gray, or is it gray blue? Man, I've forgotten it again. Set that to 9. Gray blue or blue gray? I can't even tell if it's implemented or not because it's such a subtle effect, but I feel like that's it. I can test it by simply changing that from a 9 to something like 4. Yes, it works. So let's move it back to a 9. And we've pretty much implemented what they've implemented there. All right, so next we got like a bit of a margin on the left there. What have I done with this input? Have I already added margining to it? Q-card. We got a Q-card section. Really, this button needs to be sitting within that Q-card section. Man, these need their own components. I'm starting to reach a point where I'm getting overwhelmed. So if we put that in that Q-card section, it will align it properly. Kind of aligns it properly. It doesn't really align that properly, so we just need to kind of push this out a little bit. We can do that simply by saying Q-margin left, maybe extra small. It just needs to be pushed out a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Once I get the title, the placeholder type stuff done there, then it'll be super sweet. Then you can select your color. So let's make it so that selecting that color actually selects a color by jumping into our setup method. Const color is equal to, we'll just do a reference, and let's make it blue by default. Or what was I using? I was using a dash and then another color. Yeah, blue dash 4. And now we can import ref. Where's that coming from? It's coming directly from view, baby. Now we can expose the color like so. And now it should be really easy to change that color. So what we can do is we can say here class. And I'm going to cut that, leave that one down there. Background. And then we'll make this the color. Let's see if that worked. And there we go. We get the blue background. And next, we need to make it so that clicking on these actually changes their color. And I know they're very hard-coded for now. This probably isn't how you do it. You do it like in a list. In fact, let's create a color list. Stop being lazy, Luke. You can make this happen. Ooh. Colors is equal to a reference to an array. And that array is going to have, you know what? I can literally just put the color directly in there. This doesn't even need to be an object. So let's say blue dash, I think 5. They need to be 5. Dim dibba dim dibba dim dibba dim. Now let's come up here and grab those colors. Background dash. If I just grab that, I can then press across, Control Shift across, and then copy that to grab all of the colors like an IDE Pro. There we go. Doom dibba doom dibba doom dibba doom dibba doom, and then dash 5. I should have just done that from the beginning. Add those commas in. And it is done. So now we can expose all of the colors there like that. And instead of doing all these colors ad nauseum, we can come down here and just like delete them all. Like, nah. Come up here like, nah. And then we can say v-4 is equal to color in, oh, I can't use the word color. Let's say quasar color in colors, and the key is definitely going to be able to be that color itself. And now we want to come in here and basically say class is equal to background dash $, and then that quasar color, and we can remove that, and let's see if it works. And there we go. We get all our colors. And now we can easily just do this at click equals color is equal to quasar color. Quacha! And there we go. So now we can change the color of what our board is going to be, just like what they've got here. And then I still don't know how to change this placeholder color. And then I can come in here and say, by the way, it is for this, 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 or this. And I think there's like an auto close for the Q menu. There's like a auto close. So now whenever I select something on there, it automatically closes it. Nice. And can I change the text on that? Surely I can say like text, or maybe you have to do this in a class. Well, text dash white didn't work. Yeah, man, how do you change the color of an input? Label color. It's not color because that just changes like the theme color. Man, maybe this is not even possible, which kind of seems a little bit nuts to me. Surely it is possible. Yeah, it's kind of always coming out with that same color. I've never seen an example actually of different colors. Maybe we'll just search for the word color, see if there's anything that's doing something freaky. Coloring. Yeah, it's all just using black text. So once again, this is something that I might actually have to target myself. Or the other thing you can do is set it to dark. So let's take a look at that and see what happens, because that's going to make everything white then. All right. That's actually exactly what we want. That gave us the exact result we needed. We just needed to add dark in there. Ha! Tremendous. All right, let's make it so that this is referenced. So this is a reference of, let's say, dialog button. The reason I'm doing that is I want to make it so that this close button actually works. So let's say @click is equal to $refs dialog button, and this dialog button is going to need a method that actually closes it. So let's come down here and then say, I don't know if this actually works with the comp API. Let's find out if it does. Oh, actually, I wonder if, I know it's a long shot, but I wonder if I can see v-close-pop-up. Ah, it worked. Man, this is a really, really helpful directive. So that's pretty much it. We've now got all of this stuff for creating a new board. We can change the color like that. We can give it a name, my board. Once you're done though, how do you create the board? Okay, so this is giving, I just want that create board button. I don't want to deal with any of this other stuff because we don't have any trial stuff or anything like that. So that button for create board looks like that by default. So let's come down here and implement that. How about create board button? Oh, so technically that should be the create board button. All right. Anyway, I'll deal with that later on. Let's say below here, just to check if that shows up below there. And it does. So now we can have a div here. And then let's have a q-button inside of that div. And then the label of that button is going to be create board like that. And it's going to have no dash caps. So let's try that. Yeah, okay, so that shows up now. We want it to be centered. I don't know if this will stretch by default because I can't tell what the parent div is from here. So let's just see if that works. And it did. So now we've got this create board button. If there is no text, so we're going to have to model the board title. So let's come in here. We'll leave that as like the color related stuff. Const board title is equal to a reference to an empty string. You know what? It's obvious it's a board, so let's just say title there. And now we will return that title like nya. And so I should be able to model that piece of data in my input v-model is it title. And then if that is equal to nothing, this will be disabled. I'll show you what I mean. Disable is equal to, if we set it to true, let's just make sure we get the styling right for that. Yeah, so we want it to be flat. What else here? We want the text color to be equal to a really light gray. So that's probably like gray dash, I don't know, 3. And we also want the color of it to be equal to white, and it's not actually flat, it's unelevated because we want to keep the background color of that button. Is that white? It doesn't look white. Or is that an optical illusion because of the background color there? I don't know. That does not look white to me. If I get rid of that, what happens? White. Green. Okay, what about this? Gray dash 1. Yeah, I think that is actually white. I remember reading about this, but it doesn't look white because it's an optical illusion. But why does that one look white? Maybe it's because it's closer to something else. No, that's not white. I'm sure that's not. It's because it's... maybe we don't actually have this color property. Hang on. Palette. Give me the palette so I can see the colors. All right, maybe we actually don't have a white color. I always thought we did have a white color. Typography. No. There is no white color. All right, that's bizarre. So let's... Oh, I can't believe this. I'm finding this so hard to believe that Quasar doesn't have a white color. Surely. Surely. I'm just like scrolling through down the bottom here. Nah, okay. I'm not seeing anything, so let's just say here style is equal to, or maybe they've got one as a class. Class is equal to background dash white. I mean, I'm just so sure that I've done this before. Or maybe because it's got a little bit of opacity to it. I don't know. Okay, so let's try, maybe it's because it needs to be nested in here. Yeah, there we go. We can actually see. Okay, so let's try this. Let's try the color as white again. Let's try the color as blue and see if we do get some opacity there. Ha! We do get opacity there. So, I reckon maybe color white does work, but the background is making it more gray. So, we need to find out how to make this a solid white for a button. Man, I'm surprised that this is not... hang on. Let's do a little bit of a recon here and figure it out. Solid, maybe? Style. Unelevated. Simply removes the shadow. There might be something else that's messing with the opacity here. What is it? All right, we're going to have to do some digging. Inspector Lugu, he's on the case again. What is it? It's called like transparent or opacity. And let's just go up the chain and see. Ha! What happens if I get rid of that and that? Then we get a solid white. Oh, it's because it's disabled. So when it's disabled, it adds that a bit of an opacity to it. All right, I did not see that coming, if I'm honest. All right, so disable. Let's try disabled, because I think Quasar has both disable and disabled. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting the same thing. So, oh man, what do I do about this? Is this one of those situations where you say it just doesn't matter enough and you get over it and you move on with your life? Yeah, I think it is one of those situations. I could target it with CSS, but I just don't think it's a good use of our time. So let's just push on. Oh, you know what? Opacity is equal to 1, and I might have to add important there. Oh no, he's using important. Kill him. Class is equal to background white. All right, Luke, that's enough. Stop. We need to push on. Okay, so at the moment that's black. Let's change the text color. Text-color is equal to gray-2. So let's make it gray-4. And by the way, this is all only if it is disabled. I'm going to change that back to color. Oh my gosh, I just thought of a perfect solution to this. What if I just wrap that in a div? And then just give this a background of white. Why can't I just do that? Oh, because that div's going to be full width. Man, we can make it, what is it, block or inline block or something to get rid of all that? I don't know. Have I worked on React.js? No, I'm not really that interested in React, to be honest, because a lot of the stuff that it does and Vue does is quite similar. And so I don't have much of a reason to look into React. I've looked into it a little bit in the past, and I just thought Vue was much nicer, cleaner, better environment. Everything felt like there was more of a way of doing things than with React.js, whereas React felt a little bit more corey, if that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, I think they're both great. I just like using Vue. And honestly, there's probably a bit of the fact that I'm familiar with it as well. Yeah. So also, I've got Quasar with Vue, and I'm obsessed with Quasar. I just think this is the most phenomenal tool ever. So there's that as well. Let's try inline block here. Hey, and then we can say border rounded. No. Rounded borders. There we go. So we've pretty much just got a button again. And now we just need to make this gray a little bit more gray. Hey, and we've done it. Oh my God. Yes, it feels so good. Oh, that was a nasty, nasty problem. Now we need to make it so that if there's any text in here, it actually changes to that, which might sound like it's going to be a difficult problem, but these kinds of problems are actually not that hard to solve. So how about we have a flag or a computed property, computed, and we call that has input or has title input. Yeah, has title input. That sounds good to me. So const has title input is equal to a computed property, and it's going to return title.value is not equal to an empty string. So there we go. And now we can basically use that to start playing around with this. All right. First of all, disabled if has title input is equal to false. So it's disabled, input some stuff, and I can now click on it. So that's good. Next, the text color is going to become white. So let's do this. Has title input, question mark? If it does, then I'm going to make you white. Otherwise, I'm going to make you gray. Save that. And there we go. It's gray, blah, 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 blah. It turns white. Of course, we're also going to have to change the color of the button, which is going to be extremely similar to what we've got here. And so the color is going to be, that's just a blue color. I'm not going to try and get it perfect blue. If it has a title input, it's going to be blue. Otherwise, it's going to be white. Let's have a crack at that. And now we can call this Lugu's board. And that's pretty much all of the styling done. Tremendous! How unbelievably cool is that? Now, this is annoying the crap out of me, the fact that there's actually less padding at the top there than what there is in this example. So let's find out why I'm getting all this extra padding at the top. It's because we get padding with the input and we get padding with the cue card section. I think the strategy there is to change it on a cue card section level. So cue-card dash section, let's get rid of that and change it to a div instead. And then we can say class is equal to cue-padding or extra small to begin with. Let's see what that's like as a starting point. That's a little bit too small. Let's change it to small and see what that looks like. Okay, so that's... So maybe I need to do these on more of a individual level. How easy is it to get rid of the padding or the input? I'm pretty sure it's pretty strict about padding. Let's just say it's a Q. We've already got this down here. Let's say Q-padding or -none. I don't think that works because I think Quasar is pretty strict on its padding. Yeah, on maintaining its padding. And I think that's because it does some pretty fancy styling stuff in some scenarios with like labels and whatever and stuff that I probably don't even understand. So there's that. So the correct strategy here, I think... Oh, you know what? Why don't we just do this? Let's just say... We'll change that back. Let's come back here. Let's say padding X is equal to medium. And then have no padding on the top and bottom. So no padding on the top, or we might do a little bit on the top and the bottom. So let's say Q-padding Y and just set that to small. And that's pretty much it. So I'm happy with that. Blah, 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 blah. And then with this button changes color, We get these things so we can change that color. The last thing to do, I reckon, is to put that little checkbox in the middle of that, which is going to be easy. And then I really need to head to bed. I'll be honest with you, I find it hard to wind down after a live stream. I am jacked right now, full of energy. So chances are I'm probably going to like watch an episode of something before I go to bed. But whatever. Okay. So we want to have an icon that shows up in the middle for these little colored things. And I think this is one of them. So let's say icon is equal to MDI-check. I think that's the name of the check icon. Wow, that just worked. I did nothing pretty much. And then we want to set the color of that check. Icon-color? Can I do that? I don't think I can. Is white? No. Oh, I think you just do text-color. Text-color. And that's it. We get the white check. Simple as that. And now we just need to decide on whether or not we show that white check or not, which with Vue is so easy that it is a joke. We just need to check if the Quasar color that we are currently on is equal to the color question mark. And if it is, give me MDI check. Otherwise, give me undefined. Pretty sure that's all I have to do. Oh my gosh, it works. What color am I getting by default here? Okay, yeah, that's working. Let's refresh the page and just check that it is working. Cha-la-la-la. Okay, no, it's because my default color needs to be a 5. There we go. All right. The close button works. We've got this menu here. We can like click on stuff, and that doesn't update anything, but we'll work more on that later on. I absolutely agree with you. Vue.js learning curve is so smooth. All the state management and all is amazing. I wonder why many developers are on React rather than Vue.js. Honestly, I just don't know the full story there. I don't want to pretend that it's just because Vue.js is the best. Like, that's obviously what I feel on the inside because I think it's effing amazing. But I need to let people know that I'm ignorant about this. I have not spent a lot of time with React, so it's not fair for me to say one is better than the other. However, having said that, like with that whole prelude, so don't listen to a word of what I'm about to say, React is backed by Facebook. And most of the Vue.js work, at least the core stuff, has been done by Evan. Whereas with React, I think there's actually like 2 or 3 people, or at least a few people, that have a deep knowledge of the core. And so I don't know how true that is, but that's kind of the vibe I've gotten and what I've heard. And so the idea is like there's a lot of reliance on Evan with Vue.js, whereas with React, there is less reliance on one person, I think. I don't know. I don't see a lot of validity to that, but I can imagine if you're running a business, you don't know much about the coding world or the open source world, you might think, oh, this is backed by Facebook, and there's a whole bunch of, you can imagine a technology lead choosing something based on some of those reasons. So I think that might be why a lot of developers go to React. And they look at React in the first place, and it feels very buzzy, like the Facebook, this is used in Facebook, so we know that it scales really well, and we know that it's going to work on a large scale. But these are all just opinions. I mean, that's the vibe I get. So if I were dealing with the technology and I didn't know much about Vue and I didn't know much about React, I feel like there's a good chance I would go with React just because I'd be scared to go with Vue versus a framework like React that is so, and by the way, this isn't my personal opinion. This is my feeling of what people probably get, and they probably think, oh well, React's probably going to be around for longer because of those reasons, because it's backed by Facebook and it's got a few more developers and it's got money behind it and whatever. But yeah, obviously my experience is totally different with that. Look at Angular. Frankly, I am not a fan of Angular. I haven't spent a lot of time with it, but when I first started with it, I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? Whereas Vue, everything just clicked. You hear a lot of people talk about that, and you hear a lot of people say that. So, there's probably some truth to it. So, yeah, I think that'll be it for tonight. I had an absolute blast working on this with all of you guys. I think that, funnily enough, I think doing the actual boards themselves is not even going to be the hardest part about this. You'd think it would be, but the boards themselves, I mean, let's go to the... Really, apart from like a lot of the details of it, a lot of this is quite simple. It's just a card that you can click and drag. Need to make sure that it sort of tilts to the side when I drag it. And I'll just use like one of the draggable libraries. And then for Laravel, I'm going to use a backend tool that allows you to position items. Because obviously, oh, excuse me, I just burped. Oh, that's disgusting. On a live stream. Ugh. Yeah, because obviously, the fact that you can order these and move these to different lists is really important. And so I need to make sure that that's incorporated into it as well. But yeah, I've had a blast. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Like, I really do appreciate your attention. I love doing this kind of thing. And it's so cool that I get to come online and that so many of you will come and watch me. Like, I know some of you kind of come in and out because you got other stuff that's happening with your day, but throughout this stream, like, we've peaked at like, sometimes we get 9 people. I've had streams where I get to like, I think I've peaked at like 15 people at one time. That is just such an honor to have your attention when I'm building something like this. So thank you so much for watching along. And hey, if you love this kind of thing, check out quasarcast.com/register. This is where I do, where I post all of my videos. A lot of my cleaner stuff, the stuff that you see on these live streams is going to be a little bit messy and I'm going to flounder around the place. So if you like that kind of thing, hey, like, keep joining in with the streams. If you want something that's a little bit more targeted and much cleaner, because, you want to learn something fast or something, I've got quite a few courses in here. So if we jump into the courses section here, oh, it's not courses. Oh my gosh, I don't even know my own website. I think it might just be course. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I got so you can sign up there, and I've got quite a few courses that might be helpful to you. So yeah, check that out. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, and one last thing, I really love doing this podcast that I've been working on. The Quasar Life podcast. It has been so much fun. I just talk about life as a Quasar developer, like just things that I come across, different technologies and stuff. Just to give you an idea of some of the episodes that I've done. Oh, by the way, if you guys haven't tried the Google podcast player, it's really, really nice. Now you are going to build Trello clone. What's inspired you to build a Trello clone? I don't know. I was working on my Sanctum authentication library, and I just thought it would be so cool if I could very quickly build a Trello clone. And honestly, it's taking a little bit longer than expected because I'm getting way too obsessed with the details, with how everything looks. So that's like holding me back a lot. And honestly, it's been taking, for those of you that have followed along with this whole thing, it's taken up like 70% of my time, just like perfecting like these tiny pixelated things that don't even matter. But what was the question again? Now you're going to build show. Yeah, I was inspired because I wanted to use my Quasar Sanctum extension, which allows you to authenticate with Laravel Sanctum. And so this was just a chance to check if that worked properly and build something cool at the same time. So I thought, hey, let's build a Trello clone. Everything's gone pretty well so far. If you haven't watched the whole thing, I've actually mapped out the entire backend. So the entire backend has been built. The whole API for that has been done. And yeah, check out Quasar Vue Life. This is where I just do like podcasts on building Quasar related stuff and talking about technologies I love. I went on this big technology thing where I talk about some of my favorite technologies, and that was like a lot of fun. So yeah, subscribe to that if you're interested in that kind of thing. Register for quasarcast.com. And thank you so much for listening. Honestly, I really do appreciate your attention, and I've had a blast. Can't wait to continue building this Trello clone. See you in the next live stream. Bye for now.